Well, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Observer's Notebook podcast. This isn't only a podcast. This is actually a video we're recording for our brand new Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers YouTube channel. So if you want to go see what I look like, you don't have to, but you can, go to our YouTube page and watch this video. You can subscribe to it if you go. I really appreciate it. The YouTube channel is going to be used for highlighting future events. We're going to be doing training on it. And also the subject of today's talk is the upcoming 2020 conference, which we're going to talk about today. And in order to get in with that, I have with me today from the ALP Board of Directors and past editor, probably past, but still current editor of the Journal of the Association of Lunar and Planetary Observers, Ken Pashedley. Welcome, Ken.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so you can see what Ken looks like too if you're on the YouTube channel.
Oh my God.
So Ken, before we get into it, why don't you just give a little background about yourself?
Well, originally from Cleveland, Ohio, where I was very interested in astronomy as a 12-year-old back in the early 60s, wanted to be an astronomer. Unfortunately, mathematics and me never really got along that well. I was barely able to pass it in school. And finally, towards the end of high school, it was evident it wasn't going to work out. I took another career path and went into news journalism. Moved to Atlanta in 1984 for a technical writing position, and a couple of years later rediscovered astronomy big time, and then rejoined the ALPO. I joined it from 62 to 66 and then let it go. Rejoined about 1990, and I had really gotten into it so much more. I tell people I'll probably never be the observer that everybody else is and know every little thing. But my talent is in communications and publications editing, and so that's how I'm able to contribute to the association. I'm the publications section coordinator.
Okay.
And I do currently I'm still doing the electronic layout of the quarterly journal. I do have a very good backup person. Sean Dillis is now the editor of the journal, and we both work together, and eventually I'd like to get someone, if anybody's out there and listening, who can do electronic layout of publications. Please contact me or Tim, and we'll go from there.
Great. Now, today we're talking about the 2020 conference, but before we get into that, how long has the ALPO been involved with doing conferences?
Well, the ALPO itself started in 1947 when Walter Haas, who I always thought he was an astronomer, but he was a mathematician, he was getting more and more frustrated with the refusal, apparently, of the professional community to consider amateur contributions of observations of solar system objects. So he founded the ALPO. I think it was in the spring of '47, and it wasn't until I was told about 1956 that there was the first ALPO. They called them conventions, but they've really gone down in the attendance. So I call them conferences myself. Right. First one was in '56 in Flagstaff.
Okay. All right. So what happens at a typical ALPO conference?
At a typical ALPO conference, like any conference for any other organization, the first couple hours are where you get a chance to meet and greet all these people that you hadn't seen in at least a year or more. And you start talking about everything else. And then it finally gets down to, in the case of our association, there are scheduled paper presentation sessions, which sounds kind of boring, but it's not necessarily so. And so for a day and a half, maybe 2 full days, there are any number of presentations of findings or ideas on how to do this, how to do that, or what somebody was able to find out themselves when they did their own observations. And hopefully these presentations serve to inspire others to do more of what they're doing or to take on another facet of this activity.
Now, are these high-level talks or papers that are given where astrophysics and things like that, or what is
No,
the level?
no, it's more of the advanced amateur
Okay.
who really do a good job in surprising the professional community. Uh, I mean, in this hobby, like anything else, you've got people who go outside on the back porch. They look up once in a while and they go, "Oh, very nice." And then you got people who live and breathe this stuff.
Right.
I mean, they just talk in terms of arc seconds and degrees of this, and this object was 0.0001 magnitude and whatever, and everybody in between. So papers really serve to state, like in the case of Frank Malillo, one of our valued members, who's our Mercury observing section coordinator. He gets a few, luckily, he does get some participation, and his reports consist of people being able to actually see and record and either photograph or sketch or draw certain features on the planet Mercury as small as it is. And then Frank will compare those with images taken by the Messenger spacecraft. So you have a chance to see that your observations are valid and that they reconcile with the images from actual satellites. Now, by the way, I want to say that the good thing about being an amateur in this hobby, and it's not really a hobby, but it is that amateurs do this for the love of it, and they do it because they have, in many cases, they have the time.
Right.
Professionals, well, I found out that it's just as well that I didn't go into this as a career, because professionals live and breathe to be published. And for the most part, from what I was told, their job is to set up the equipment so that it records, and they teach. And what's even worse for me is they teach math.
That kept you out of it, right? At that level?
Got me out of it. So but amateurs do this because they want to, and they wind up, because they want to, and they do it so well, they're able to contribute very, very valuable data.
Right.
Whether it's to Saturn observations, Jupiter, Mars, or any of the object, comets, whatever else. It's very, very valid observations made by very regular people.
And that's what we're going to be focused on this year is the paper sessions, obviously. We're going to have those. They're going to be on Zoom, which this is going to be available on as well. But also we're going to have some other things that past conferences have had in the past too. Can you talk about those things?
Well, the thing about this conference is different, as you just said, is it's going to be all untouchable. No shaking hands, no nothing.
Yeah.
You'll be in the comfort of your own home.
Right.
You'll be doing this by Zoom. We will be having our featured speaker for the final day of the conference, after all the paper sessions are done and the presentation of an award. We're going to have our speech will be by Miss Pranvera Iseni, if I remember that's how it's pronounced. She's the young lady, I think she's 25 or so, from Kosovo, and she has been written up for her enthusiasm in establishing a professional astronomy facility, an observatory planetarium in Kosovo. And she has traveled the world. She's very much in demand to do talks, and she has. She is now, as I understand it, excuse me, she is now beginning her studies towards her master's degree. I think it's in astronomy, but it's either astronomy or related, at San Jose State University in California, which I don't think is too far from you, maybe.
It's Central California, yeah.
Okay. So we'll also have, or hope to have, door prizes, things like that. But the big thing is it's going to be an all virtual online event. Timed to be accessible to just about anybody who wants to be there. excuse me, the times will be Friday, October 2nd from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which comes out to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for you in the Pacific Time Zone, and even earlier for those out over Hawaii, Alaska, wherever. And then on Saturday, the 3rd of October, the times will be from 1 until 6 p.m. because that'll take into account the presentation of our Observing Award and also then the talk by Miss Hassani.
Okay. Well, we have put together a short PowerPoint presentation that you and I will just walk through it, and it'll cover pretty much everything that we're going to go into. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, obviously, because of COVID-19, the pandemic, and what the board of the ALPO has decided to do to hold this conference this year on Zoom. And like you mentioned, the 2 days are Friday and Saturday, October 2nd and 3rd. And it is free.
Free.
And open
there's
to
no
anybody.
registration fee required. We do ask people who are planning to attend virtually whether they're going to do it via Zoom or view it via the Facebook page,
right,
or YouTube channel to contact Tim. That's true.
Yeah. Now we're going to live stream it as well. It's not only going to be on Zoom. So if you can't get on Zoom, we're limited to 100 people. I don't think we're going to have 100 people at this conference log in. But if it does stream out of that, then you can go to our YouTube page where it will be live, and also live streamed on the ALPO Facebook page. So both those places, you could watch the conference. The only difference between those two and watching it on Zoom is if you have a question, there's no way for us to respond on YouTube and Facebook. So
yeah, whereas if you're on Zoom, for those of you who don't know that, there's a live chat feature where you can type in your question and it appears in a column on the right side of the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's a virtual event. So we're looking forward to this. This will be the first time we are attempting something like this. So
I didn't think of us as being virtuous in the past, but I guess.
Right. And as Ken mentioned, Predrag Hassani from Kosovo is our guest speaker for this conference. I had her on the podcast a little less than a year ago to talk about what she was doing in Kosovo. She's a very dynamic individual, very dynamic speaker, a lot of fun to be with. And I don't know what her topic's going to be, but
she had shared with me while we talked on the phone recently that she's very interested in meteors and minor planets. I think meteors, but minor planets for sure.
Right.
And I asked her if she would work into that, how she got interested in that.
Oh, fantastic.
Particular branch of observing. So I'll be talking with her again.
Okay, good. Well, I'm really looking forward to having her top off our conference too on Saturday night. Well, the conference times, Eastern times are 1 to 5. So on my coast, Ken's on the east, I'm on the west. West Coast times are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, October 2nd. And then what is this here?
1 to 6 on Saturday for me,
right,
10
right.
to 3 for you.
Right.
And on Friday night, we're having the ALPO board meeting.
That's true.
And that'll begin at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That will be open as well. And that could be very dull.
Yeah, that will have a separate Zoom meeting setup. So if you are interested, if viewers, listeners are interested in attending the board meeting, you'll have to contact me for that Zoom meeting hookup as well.
That's basically, that's open to ALPO members.
Members, right. Right, that's a very good point.
And by the, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. You got something else?
Not yet.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and as Ken mentioned, on Saturday evening, we're going to have the Walter Haas Observer Award presented after the last talk, and then we will be giving the awards that night.
It's interesting that normally the presentations and the talks the final talk are done during the dinner or right after the dinner itself, at the dinner venue, normally when it's an in-person event. So those of you who are going to be attending in the Eastern or possibly the Central time zones, you may want to get yourself a meal and eat right in front of the old computer monitor, so it's almost a dinner meeting for you.
That's true. Only on Zoom we could watch you eat, so I don't know if many people really want to do that as well. I've been on work meetings where people are eating, and it's not the most attractive thing in the world. Anyway, like we mentioned earlier, the conference is free and open to anyone to attend, but we do ask that presenters be members of the ALPO membership.
That's not an ask.
Pardon me?
That's not an ask.
That's a requirement. Require. And digital membership starts at only $18 a year or so. And I have the link there. And if you go to the ALPO website, you can find it there as well. So that is a requirement for those currently non-members who want to give a presentation. To attend, you do not need to be an ALPO member. But to give a paper at the conference, yes, you need to be a member.
By the way, this kind of ties in with that. You do not have to be a member to contribute your observations, but it sure helps. Begin to feel part of a real team of people that are contributing to real science, because the data that we provide goes to the Jet Propulsion Lab. It goes to NASA. It goes to various institutions that are doing studies. I've heard it many times. The data from specifically ALPO records were seriously considered when planning was in process for where they were going to target landers on the planet Mars from. You know, so it's not like we're just nobody. We do play a part because we are so meticulous. Many of our members are that meticulous in what they're doing.
Well, also the most recent podcast we've released with Julius Benton talking about Venus, we talk about a Venus probe that they are requesting observations from the ALPO. So there's been a lot of program collaboration throughout the years with the organization. So this slide here just reiterates what we already talked about. The paper session Saturday evening, we'll have the Walter Haas Observers Award, followed by our keynote speaker. And then hopefully we'll get some door prizes. We're looking at it. If anybody out there that's watching this or listening would like to donate door prizes, please contact Ken Pashedley and he'll set that up for you. I really appreciate it. Now, Zoom. Most of you hopefully are familiar with Zoom in this time of COVID disease ramping up all around our nation. We've all had meetings on Zoom. All you need to attend the conference is a webcam, microphone, a lot of computers. I'm on a Mac right now. My Mac desktop came with a camera inside. That's what I'm talking to you now. Most laptops have microphones and cameras built in. PC desktop computers, you might need to buy a webcam, but they're relatively cheap.
I paid $20 for mine.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So I just got it sitting on top of the monitor here.
Yeah. So attending, it's not a requirement. Like I said, if you don't want to go to Zoom, you want to stay away, you can go to the YouTube channel. You don't need any equipment except a computer. You just go to our YouTube channel to watch it. Or if you're on Facebook, you can go to the ALPO Facebook page and watch the conference there. But if you want to interact with the speakers, ask questions and things like that, that's the preferred method to do it.
One last thing to tie in with Zoom. Those of you who use Zoom know that if you have the free version, you're limited. Well, you were. I'm not sure if it still applies, but there was a 40-minute or thereabouts time limit on your sessions. I've been told that time limit has gone away, at least during the pandemic, and that wouldn't even really matter now, because if I remember, Tim is the operator of this conference. So anybody who is logging into Zoom for this conference per Tim will be able to stay online for the length of the conference.
Yeah, the Observer's Notebook podcast through our Patreon contributors help pay for our monthly license to Zoom. So we can have up to 100 people in a Zoom meeting and for as long as we want. So if this conference goes 8 hours, We can be on the Zoom meeting for 8 hours. We can do whatever we want. So that's it. But if you want to present a paper, you must have Zoom on your computer. You must have a microphone and a camera. What we plan on doing for the paper session, we plan on paper sessions be sent to me, and I will share them online. So that way we are in control of that. The Zoom links will be sent out Thursday, October 1st, and there'll be a separate Zoom meeting for each day. So the way it's going to work is you're going to send me an email. You want to register. You need to register for the conference online. And you do that by sending me an email, and I will send you a registration link, which will then take you to the Zoom page. Okay, so we want to control who's coming in, and we'll also have a waiting room on the Zoom meeting. If you've been on Zoom meetings in the past 6 months or so, you know that a lot of them now have waiting rooms. You're put into a waiting room until you're allowed in. So that way we can control who's coming in and who's coming out of our conference. Okay.
You mentioned, would you touch on security during the meeting, online security, what your plan is for any possible problem?
Hopefully we won't. We're a pretty boring group. But if someone comes on and tries to disrupt it, I can kick them immediately out of the meeting. I can turn off their microphone. So I'm not really concerned about this.
Well, I think all their microphones will automatically be muted anyway, but it's visual that we worry about. And Tim, as he said, can just drop you right out.
Yeah.
If anything goes on.
That's true. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. The Zoom meeting room will open 15 minutes prior to each day's conference.
Do you have refreshments there?
Well, yes, I will. I'll have a champagne waiting at the door as you wander in. Definitely. We are looking for people to submit papers on research you might be doing. If you're a section coordinator of the ALPO, we'd love to see you do a operation report or something like that. If you have a project you're working on, things like working on new instruments or spacecraft or something like that, it's something that you're interested in that you're researching, come on in. It's a 15-minute presentation. It's not an hour. It's not, death by overhead. We're not looking by that. We're looking for.
That last bullet is something that's very topical, by the way.
Yeah. But we're looking for 15 minutes with about 5 minutes for questions after each talk. So not a lot of time given to these, but that way we can get through this. We plan on having 7 talks every day. So we have 14 spots open.
Break, we'll have a break for.
We will have a rest break in the middle of it, and all that entire schedule will be put out about a week in advance. The last one is near and dear to Ken. He's asked for this one. He wants someone to do a talk on SpaceX Starlink artificial satellites and how they're affecting amateur astronomers.
Yeah, we couldn't get Elon to be there, but
no, I heard he was flying a jetpack around LAX today.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, in your neighborhood.
I don't know if that was actually him, but it would not surprise me if it was.
It was what, 3,000 feet up, this guy?
Yeah, 3,000 feet flying into the oncoming traffic into LAX. Yeah, okay. So if you want to present a paper, I'm the guy to come to. My email address is commentman@commentman.net. I need to get those submissions by Monday, September 21st. When you send it to me, send me a brief bio about yourself, a summary of the presentation, and the actual PowerPoint presentation. Okay, that's what I need. So you send me those things. That's how we're going to put together our schedule. If you have a specific time during those 2 days, we can probably work out a schedule where if you're not available in the morning, but you're available for the afternoon session, let me know and we'll work it out that way. But we're really looking for some exciting papers at this conference. And this is not the first time here's in-person conferences we've had in the past. Just a few individuals.
Yes, for those of you with sizable screens, I'm not sure, I can't tell who's on the left. Is that Matt Will?
No, that's Walter.
That's Walter himself.
That's Walter.
And then in the middle, second middle there left, we have Frank Malillo with Richard Schmuty and Julius Benton. Now, Frank Malillo is the Mercury Observing Section Coordinator. Richard Schmuty or Dr. Richard Schmoody, but he goes by Richard, is the coordinator of the Remote Planets Observing Section. That's Uranus, Neptune, and maybe Pluto. And also, he's the observing coordinator for our Jupiter section, and he's also the assistant coordinator for photometry for the Mars observing section. And then to the right of that, we've had some famous people. We've had Galileo at least twice. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah, he was there in 2000 out here in
He was there
Ventura.
in 2000, and he was there again in 2010. He looks very good for his age.
He really does. Looks very well for his age.
I was at the Jacksonville conference. And then the one on the bottom.
This was a few years ago, I take it.
Yeah, more than a few. Yeah, I can tell by the fashions. That had to be 50s, 1950s or so.
Yeah, I think you could tell by the ties.
That was 19. Yeah, I'm looking at my own hard copy. That was 1956 when everybody was free to go where they wanted to go.
The year I was born, so I'm not in that one. Okay. So like I said, here's the contact information. A lot of this is available on our website, www.alpo-astronomy.org. My contact information, again, is cometman@cometman.net.
We need to point out that that normally .com, but it's important that it's .net.
It's .net, right? I am .net. Zoom, if you need to download Zoom, it's zoom.us. Our YouTube channel is really long there. So if you go to the top one, the ALPO website, in the upper right of our website is the link for our YouTube channel. And go there before the conference, click on the link, and they have a subscribe button. Please subscribe. That way, when we go live, you are contacted anytime we upload a new video. Like I said, this video is on, right? If you're watching it on YouTube, that's where you are right now. So click the subscribe button. And also, of course, the Observer's Notebook podcast, which is also being a part of. There's our link down there. And if you like the podcast, please subscribe to that as well. All right. You got anything else you want to add there, Ken?
Send money. $2.50, something like that.
Send money.
Please consider a membership.
Yes.
Whether you plan to contribute or not, we're very proud of our quarterly journal. It could either be very good insomnia reading or very good interest reading, depending on your abilities. You meet some really good people, both online and in person. Think of the ALPO and other organizations like ours as the next step up from your informal local astronomy club, where you've learned how to use your scope and the binoculars, and you've learned where things are in the sky. And now you've decided that you are really attracted to planetary astronomy, observing planets and comets and meteors and so forth. And you really, really, really want to get into that seriously. This is the organization for you. And we hope to consider that.
Yeah, and like you mentioned early on about one thing about attending a conference is the people. That's the first time I ever met you was when I went down to the conference in Georgia. Now we talk probably once a week on various things. Yeah. And it's a good way to meet people that you've never met before. And there's a lot of great astronomers in the ALPO, and this is going to be a fun and interesting event. It's a way for everybody to interact with them as well if you're on the Zoom meeting. So like I said, there's 3 different ways to attend the conference. It's via Zoom, it's on our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page. And if you have not joined our Facebook page, I highly suggest you do that too. I just go over there and hit the like button, and that one you'll be a part of the ALPO Facebook page. And also the Observer's Notebook podcast has a Facebook page as well. I know listeners have heard me talk about every single episode about our Facebook page.
As far as getting in touch with me, it's probably easier to go to the ALPO website as you have it there. And the left side of the screen on the organization's webpage, there's a list of sections. Look for the publication section and then just look for my name. It's ken.koshedley at alpo-astronomy.org. The Slovak surname. So there you go.
All right. Sounds good, Ken. All right. So hopefully we'll have a number of you attend our conference one way or the other. And also I'm looking forward to receiving paper requests from everyone too. So that does it for now. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ken.
Thank you.